If your child is involved in a gang and there's nowhere for him to hide, you take him back to Africa. You know, it's safer there than it is in London.
If you look, a specific way, or you live in a specific area and you're from a certain age, you are targeted and you will be stabbed.
My mum feels I'm much safer here than anywhere else in the world.
When you're a parent sending your child back, it's a risk you're taking, but unfortunately some parents feel like it's also a risk leaving their kids in the streets of London.
As a Somali community, we are the forgotten people, completely.
How many of our children are in prison? I wanted to tell you.
There are mothers now sending their teenagers back home, saying it's much safer to live in London.
So she said she took her son back to Somaliland. He spent a year there. During that time, he acquired an education. He was a studious child again. He, in fact, was teaching other children. And he enjoyed his time. He actually said his preference was to stay in East Africa. She brought him back in November 2018. He had been back in the country for just 17 days. He received a text message from somebody she didn't know. He was in the middle of eating a meal. He put the meal down, went outside and was stabbed. He was stabbed 4 times. He's been completely traumatized by the experience, and the way in which he was stabbed was very traumatic. They damaged his bladder, his kidneys, they did a proper job on him. All these organs have been damaged permanently. The thing that would have kept him safe was for him to stay in Somaliland for longer. She said, I have no doubt of that. 100% more safe than it is for my children in London.
One problem that they're all escaping, that is universal to all of them, is violence. So knife crime, gun crime, fighting, drug-related issues. London is not a war zone, we know that. But there are targeted crimes. If you look a specific way, or you live in a specific area and you're from a certain age, you are targeted and you will be stabbed. It's like airstrike that happens in a country, for example, where there's war. You don't know when it's going to land on you, but are you going to say, this airstrike's not going to land in my house, I'm just going to live? No, you're thinking it can come anytime, so let me get out. So London is the same. The mothers are saying, my son is 17, 18, his friends died, or they're killing each other. I'm not waiting for that airstrike to come to my house. We're getting out of here.
In those few years that I was doing my A-levels, it was tough.
Why was it tough?
Just seeing people being dropped every other day, being stabbed. It's not the place to be for a teenager, I would say. I've lost close friends. Like, there are people in my neighbourhood, like someone like I really knew who lost his life.
Like you grew up with or something?
Yeah. He got stabbed. That was one of the reasons that I came back here. It just opened my eyes, man. It was just recently. It was just before I came here.
When I see young adults, I just see that 17-year-old that I was walking around, because I know what they're going through. And if I can save one person, I will feel good about myself. I came out here when I was quite young, actually. You see, when the problems were at its peak. 17, 18, between 16 and 18 I came out here. One of the things I'll never forget, and one of the things that these guys will tell you as well, is the fact that when you walk in the streets, you don't have to look over your shoulder. The fact that when you're out and about, that you know you're not being targeted, because at that age there was no way on earth that I could have easily walked into different areas of London. But here I could travel in and out the city, go visit whoever I wanted, get in a cab or get in the back of a motorbike, and it was good. I felt a sense of freedom. But right now, for these kids, it's life and death.
I had a good childhood. Growing up was lovely until I got of an age to start getting in trouble with the police and whatnot. It stopped being fun. It started becoming about money. Everyone wants nice things, but how are you gonna get it? Do you want the easy way or the hard way? Everyone goes for the easy way. Selling drugs and robbing people, not working 9 to 5. People don't want their friends seeing them stacking shelves. No matter how many Louis V belts or whatnot you got, if you're stacking shelves, you're just gonna be known as, oh, that guy that works a 9 to 5.
Abdul's been in and out of Kenya a few times. He's escaped, the crime or violence in the UK. You name it, he's probably done it.
When I came here, it was a clean sheet. No one knew me. No one knows my history. They have people that look like you going after you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
People that look like you, that's the people you have to watch out for. People that are dressed like you. You're not worried about anyone else.
Does your parents, do they feel that you're safer here?
Yeah, 100%. My mum feels I'm much safer here than anywhere else in the world.
About 2 weeks ago, I was speaking to one of the parents of the young people, and she said to me, now that my son is in Africa, I sleep better at night. I said, why? She said, because every time I hear a police siren, or if I hear a siren, I would think either the police have arrested my child or the ambulance is going to save my son that's been stabbed to death or been shot. And I said to her, okay, Mum, what about now? Tell me about the sirens. She said, oh, I can't even hear any sirens now.
Knife crime has literally threatened the fibre of the Somali community. It has shaken us all. Does the parent wait for her child to be killed? Or does the parent take a decision, quite a drastic decision, to take him all the way back to wherever that child is from originally? My name is Rakia Ismail. I'm a local councillor in Islington, and I'm a mother of 4, and I am a Somali, and I came here in London as a refugee some years ago. At the end of the day, we are all parents, and parents take the precedence of the safety of the child. There's 2 ways. Either your child is in a gang, or your child being innocently killed, standing somewhere, and he's been mistaken identity. And it keeps on happening. You can say every 5 family, there's 2 family who took their children back home. I mean, I have been working with Somali parents for a very long time, and lots of them have no clue what their sons are up to. They have no idea, and they actually think their sons are doing really quite good, some of them, until then the day after they find out their son is killed, their son is in prison, their son is dealing drugs. I mean, that's a massive, and as a Somali community, to be honest and to be fair, we are the forgotten people, completely.
The child's been telling him he's going to college, he's going to work, he's been doing this, he's been doing that. And then now all of a sudden there's a knock on the door by the police telling him, okay, whatever your child has been telling you, that's not the case.
As soon as I started seeing people die in my area, I just thought, oh man, it's not worth it. It could happen to me next. Do you understand? I could have been out on the streets right now selling drugs and thinking it's a better place. I know now that kids in Kenya, school is, they put that first, do you understand? They put education first because they think that that's what's going to take them out of the slums and everything. When you get sent back to your country by your parents and that, I'm not going to lie to you, it's the worst feeling. You're feeling like, it's like feeling like you're going to prison. Okay, because your mum's the judge, she sent you back, she knows how long you're going for. You can't come back until the judge has let you free, do you understand?
So when you're a parent sending your child back, it's a risk you're taking. it's a risk you're taking, but unfortunately some parents feel like it's also a risk leaving their kids in the streets of London.
It starts with your child being excluded from school, and that's the pipeline of, from exclusion into people referral unit, and then the next thing you know is your child is dealing drugs.
Parents don't know how to deal with this. This is not something they've encountered before. This is a British problem, and it's a problem that we've fallen into.
The new community that has come from the Horn of Africa, or from anywhere in Africa, they've come because they've fled conflict, war. They have come without a strong educational background themselves.
And moms have got limited English, and they have been forced now to take jobs, the odd jobs, cleaning and maybe carers, yeah. And they are away most of the time with their family. So the younger children took over, and a lot of parenting from their parents.
We're talking about the Somali community or the black ethnic minority community in general. Nobody cares.
So there was an example of a young boy who lived in West London who had asked to be taken back home. And she said the day they booked his plane ticket was the day that he was killed. He was born here. He was brought up here. Why should he have to go on a plane all the way to East Africa when actually his home is here? So it's not the answer, but these are desperate parents. They want their children to live. It's a life and death situation, literally. It's survival.